DJ keeps the party going. Brandon E brings the heat. We don't know how to speak. Running wild on you, brother. We're over the top. Rocking it back to the vintage scene. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. With epic thumbnails from the vids. It's a must-see. Gonna bring you the best. Legends you remember from the ring and silver screen. We're over the top. Get ready for a good time.
What's up, everybody? This is Tony, aka Friday the 14th, and welcome to Over the Top with Chad and Tony, episode 99.5, aka 99.5. I know everybody's anticipating episode 100. It's not here. It's not going to be here for a couple weeks. Scheduling conflicts with everybody. Episode 100 is a huge deal for us, and I know I wanted, and everybody else wants, we want everybody there for that episode. And this past weekend, we all couldn't get together. And next weekend, we won't be able to either. You got Super Bowl going on. So we're having to delay episode 100 for a couple weeks. Not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. I don't have the date to it. Sorry, I apologize. I should have had that prepared, but I don't. We're not professional. Anyways, so for episode 99.5, you're going to get pretty much a Royal Rumble recap from all of us and what we thought about it and all that jazz. Once again, like I said, we all apologize. We've made that a big deal for putting out content every Thursday, a new episode, all that. But just life and scheduling just didn't work out. Like I said, I want everybody involved that's been a part of this podcast to be on episode 100. Squints, BJ, Brandon, The Viz, of course, Chance and Chad. Try to get Mel in there with him, with Chad and everything too. I mean, that's just what I personally and the guys did as well. We want everybody involved with it. But so you're getting this content to fill us this week, and I may put something out next Thursday just to buy some content as well. But episode 100 will be out in 2 weeks from today. We promise. But like I said, this episode is going to be all what I had. All the guys send in clips of what they thought of the Rumble and all that jazz, and we're just going to give our opinion of the 2025 Royal Rumble, which was, in my opinion, was a great show. So, shout out to our sponsors, Revolution One Media, Trouble Spirits. We don't have a gaggle of wrestlers. We just got Jason with us. So let's just get right into this episode.
What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, Chad Arms, Chatty Bobby 1130. All up, buddy. As you can see, I got my glasses on. I'm in chill mode. Just finished watching the Rumble. Thank y'all, by the way. Over the Top is at 99.5 episodes. Episode 100 next week. And I'm just chilling at the house. Mel's at work. And I watched the Rumble. I watched all of the Rumble with the exception of the actual Rumble match the other day on Saturday night. And again, I'm one that doesn't keep complete track of everything. I keep track through the fellas. I watched the big pay-per-views. I watched SummerSlam. I watched Royal Rumble. I watched WrestleMania. I'll watch Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber. I'm going to watch the major ones. I'm trying to watch at least 4 to 5 a year. Overall, I thought this was a solid Royal Rumble. I don't really know what to compare it to over the last 4 or 5 years, I don't think. But I thought it was cool. We'll just get into it. So, Women's Royal Rumble was first, obviously. I thought this one was good for what it was. Again, with women's wrestling, it can kind of get stale at times just because the athletic ability in women isn't as high as the men's wrestling. The same with like WNBA and stuff like that. And those are just facts, okay? Y'all can get mad about that. I love everybody. It's just it's the cold hard facts. But otherwise, I still thought it was a really good Rumble. Charlotte Flair doesn't even look anything like she used to look. She's had so much surgery done. Same with Natalia. It was alarming at seeing how different they look. I don't know why they felt the need to do that. They didn't need to do that. That's beside the point. The Rumble was good. I want to say, yeah, Charlotte won. But it was cool.
All right, everyone, you already know who it is. It's Hot Mike Chance. Yeah, and I'm about to tell you what I thought about this year's Royal Rumble. Now, I did watch the Raw after the Royal Rumble, so I have that into perspective. Also, we start out the night with Stephanie McMahon coming out, which I thought was awesome. I would have thought it would have been cooler if she would have been like announcing that she was the #1 entry into the Royal Rumble, or maybe came out a little bit later in the Rumble. That would have been cool to see. They start the match off with Io Sky, Liv Morgan, which I totally agree with. Both of these ladies are two of my favorites in WWE right now. I think that they do a great job. They had a match on Raw that was very good as well. So, you know, I'm a big fan of Io and Liv. Kind of early in the match, we had Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria come in, the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. She had a wardrobe malfunction, and Liv kind of kicked her off to the corner so that she could get herself back together, which I thought was a good veteran move by Liv. Then we had entry number 9 came in, who was Lash Legend. I've never seen her before. She looks like Shaq's daughter, a WNBA player, former WNBA player. I've never seen her. I don't watch NXT that much. I'm a fan. I like the way she looks. I think that she can probably be on the main roster in no time and will do well there. I could see her going up against most of the women that are around now, Nia Jax, even like Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair. Speaking of Bianca Belair, she had a good spot in the Women's Royal Rumble where she was, I don't remember exactly who it was, but she was hitting someone in the corner, you know, doing the 10 count punches, and someone else ran at her. She backflipped over them, added them to the pile, started hitting them. Someone else ran up. She backflipped over them, added them to the pile, and it just kept adding up for maybe 5 or 6 people, and I thought that was a cool spot. What I didn't like was Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville being in the Rumble. I heard that Alexa Bliss took Shotzi's spot, so I think that Shotzi should have probably got one of their spots. Something I didn't understand was Lyra Valkyria is the new Intercontinental Champion, and she was eliminated by Ivy now. Now, I understand that happening because they have been going back and forth on Raw, but I don't understand why it was so early, unless it had something to do with the wardrobe malfunction. But other than that, I don't know why she was eliminated second. You probably shouldn't do that with your new Intercontinental Champion. Ivy was eliminated by Maxine Dupree, who doesn't even really wrestle that often and is basically a manager for Alpha Academy. I don't know why they would do that. And then Sonya Deville, Shayna, and Zoe all eliminated Maxine Dupree. So those three basically were in there longer than your Intercontinental Champion. I don't get it. I don't agree with it. But, you know, I think it just made Lyra Valkyria look weak. Another person a couple of people that I was very impressed with is Jada Parker. I've seen her on NXT before. I think she has a good look. She's talented. She's athletic. And I think she's got the attitude to become a star in WWE. Speaking of stars in WWE, Jordynne Grace, I think, is or could be the future of the WWE Women's Division. Jordynne Grace picked Nia Jax up on her shoulders and did a Death Valley Driver style move onto her, and everybody went nuts about that. She went crazy in the ring. Everybody thought it was an awesome spot, which it was. I'm a big fan of Jordynne Grace, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do in WWE. Alexa Bliss came in at number 21 to what I believe is the loudest pop of the night. You could argue that possibly it was John Cena, but I believe that Alexa Bliss had arguably, between her and Cena, the loudest pop of the night. Everyone was excited to see her back. I know I was. This Royal Rumble for the women was probably one of my favorite for the women. I mean, that's not a very high bar. I don't really think that they should be doing 2 Royal Rumbles in one night. And then the Royal Rumble was going good. Like I said, one of my favorite Royal Rumbles for the women's division so far. And then all the air got sucked out of it. And here comes Charlotte Flair. I'm not a big fan of Charlotte Flair, never have been. Don't see other than her last name being Flair, not a fan. I don't think that she deserved to win this Rumble. I don't think that she needed to win this Rumble. I think that it's very unfair, which I'll get into a little bit later, that she did win the Rumble. And then the last entry, the big surprise, everyone I think was hoping it was AJ Lee, but it was Nikki Bella. We get down to the final 3, Charlotte, Nia, Roxanne, Perez, and I think it should have either been Jordynne Grace or Alexa Bliss in the final 3, along with Charlotte and Nia. But it was good to see a new face in there, and Roxanne Perez is a good talent as well. But Charlotte, of course, wins. Everybody knew that she was going to win. She wins everything. She gets everything handed to her. I don't think, I respect what she does, but I don't feel like that she earned that spot. And I don't think that it was fair for her to just come back and be put into that spot, especially whenever you got someone on the other side like CM Punk, who was also injured but still worked angles while he was out. I don't know if she was technically injured or if she was out for personal reasons. Charlotte should have to go through a little bit before she gets another championship spot, but I know she's Charlotte Flair.
It was only a 4-card event. Of course, you had 2 Rumbles in there, which took up the majority of the time. The first kick off the show, we had the Women's Rumble, which, in my opinion, was awesome. I had a lot of people I did not recognize, and then you had some people that were some surprises. The biggest surprise to me was Alexa Bliss making her return. Got a huge pop. She had her Bray Wyatt jacket on her. Just it had to be emotional for her to come out there and everything. I think it's been almost 2 years since, or a year and a half or so since she's been gone and all that. She had a child, all that jazz, but it was awesome to see her. Some people appearances that didn't make much sense to me. I don't know why they brought Nikki Bella in. Waste of a slot to me, and the Trish Stratus. I don't understand why they brought them in. But Jordynne Grace coming in from TNA. Certified badass. I don't know if she's going to be with NXT or she's going to be on SmackDown or Raw, but that girl, she is a stud. I mean, she did that fireman's carry move. I'm doing it with her, but she bounced off of that, landed on her feet. It was a badass move. I mean, it had the crowd popping. But, of course, I'm not a big fan of her. I know BJ is, but as soon as her music hit and as soon as I heard she was announced for the Rumble, I knew that was going to be the winner. But Charlotte comes out. She gets her own special entrance. No other women's wrestler got her entrance. And come down, and of course she wins the Rumble. I didn't like the call on that one, but that's why I'm not a booker for the WWE. So, yeah, Charlotte came out. I forget which number she was, but she came out. Took her time getting to the ring, and then, of course, started clearing people out, all that jazz. But, yeah, that's your 2025 Women's Royal Rumble winner is Charlotte. I think she goes after Tiffany Stratton. I mean, there's, like BJ said, there's money in that match. I mean, I can see why, but just I didn't like the call on that one.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy BJ, the DJ. This week for Over the Top with Chad and Tony, we are talking Royal Rumble recap. Now, this is a little bit different episode, but we're going to make this work. We are really trying to amp up this 100th episode and make sure we can have everyone in attendance in person to make this thing the biggest it can be. 100 episodes is a lot. But for episode 99.5, we're talking Royal Rumble recap. And I have to give my opinion on what I feel like was a pretty decent pay-per-view. Royal Rumble is always one of my favorites. It is the kickoff to WrestleMania, and it gets the ball rolling. Now, a lot of controversy surrounding both the men's and the women's Rumble winner. I will say I feel like they got it 100% right. And I'll say it because of this. There are a lot of people saying that they are sick of Charlotte Flair always being handed opportunity after opportunity. If you say that about Charlotte, you also have to say it about others like Bayley and Nia Jax, because I feel like they have been given ample opportunity after opportunity, even more so than Charlotte, because Charlotte's been on the shelf here and there. I feel like Charlotte Flair is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. I'll die on that hill. Okay. Um, you could take away the Flair name or anything. I feel like she gets it done in the ring. I feel like she gets it done on the mic, and I feel like she has banger matches with everybody. Now, I don't feel like there is another women's match at WrestleMania that makes more sense than Charlotte and Tiffany. Go through the roster. Right now, I feel like this is the weakest roster or the weakest matchup potential that we've had for the women in a long time. I don't want to see Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair go at it again. I don't want to see Liv and Rhea. I don't want to see anybody else other than Charlotte and Tiffany for the women's title at WrestleMania. I think it makes the most sense. There were a lot of moments during that women's match that really were big moments. You got Jordynne Grace debuting under the WWE umbrella now. She had the moment with Piper Nevins that was really big for her. It was a really big spot. You had a lot of potential matchups kind of take place in the women's Rumble match. I will say this. Actually, I'll save this for the men's. So yeah, 100% happy with how the women's Royal Rumble match ended up. I think they did a great job. I think Charlotte Flair returning was huge. We got Alexa Bliss back. There were some that I was happy. There were some that I was a little upset didn't make it for the women's match, and that was, of course, I wanted to see AJ Lee, but it was never even hyped. I'd love to see AJ Lee and Liv go at it at Mania. I feel like that'd be a good one. But yeah, so women's match I think was pretty decent. Charlotte Flair winning, of course, not a popular decision amongst the fans, and we saw it on Raw this week as well. They booed her out of the building, but I do feel like she's going to pick Tiffany as her opponent for WrestleMania, and I'm here for it.
The next match on the card was for the WWE Tag Team titles. You had DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. You knew right from the get go you're going to get it was going to go to all 3 falls. I don't know much about the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm a fan of DIY. It was a decent match. You had some cool spots, all that kind of stuff. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, the tag team division is the weakest spot in the WWE right now, and this is a reason why. I mean, I don't know. It went all 3 falls. Ciampa got his nose smashed by somebody in the match. I didn't see the spot where it happened, but I saw the pictures afterwards, and his nose was all kind of fucked up. But yeah, the Street Profits came in, cost the Motor City Machine Guns the match, and yeah, it's kind of forgettable after that. DIY is your WWE Tag Team Champions. We have World Heavyweight Tag titles and WWE Tag titles, so go figure, and nobody gives a shit about them, unfortunately, which I love tag team wrestling. Who knows? Hopefully, when Rey Fenix comes over to the WWE and him and Penta can get together, that'll take the tag team division where it needs to go. But it was the card filler for the night. So.
Next, we had the Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY, and I'll say this: I was a huge TNA fan back in the early to mid 2000s when TNA really started taking off. And I was a big Motor City Machine Guns fan. I'm happy to see them get their opportunity at WWE. They come in and immediately make an impact, win the tag titles. All for that. This is a match I would have really looked forward to 7 to 10 years ago. However, I will say this: it was a decent match. If I'm rating on a scale 1 to 10, I'd give it at least a 6 or a 7. I felt like there was a lot there. Having the Street Profits interfere at the end of it, doesn't make sense unless they're building up something big for Mania, like a Fatal 4-Way, because they have a lot of tag teams right now in WWE. They're just kind of sitting there, nothing to do. Street Profits have a lot of potential, and I really wish they'd get a push. I feel like they've earned it, and who better than against either DIY or Motor City Machine Guns. There's a lot of tag teams out there. I feel like Creed Brothers. I feel like when Tangaloa comes back, you got the Bloodline back in the mix. There's just a ton of tag teams that have potential to really put together a decent match at WrestleMania, and I hope they really capitalize on it. I really want to see Street Profits get a push.
This next match was a popcorn match. Obviously, it was a WWE Tag Team Title match. 2 out of 3 falls. DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. I think DIY retained. It was fine. Nothing at all special about it.
Next match we have is a match I don't even care about, don't really care to talk about that much. We had the Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. Not a fan of this match. I didn't have any interest. I think this was just a payday for probably DIY from Triple H, and just, a good payday for these guys, which they've been in the business for a long time. I respect what they've done in the business, but not a fan. This match felt off pace. It felt very, I call it indie-rific. It's like, a local show that you would go to. That's what this reminded me of. There was no selling. It felt more like an AEW or maybe a TNA match. Just no selling, no really storytelling. It was just spot after spot after spot. And I did not enjoy this match one bit.
Match of the night for me was Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens ladder match. I felt like this was one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen in my life. They had a great match that didn't focus solely on the ladder aspect of it. You didn't see a lot of failed attempts at the ladder. You didn't see a lot of tipped over ladders. You saw the ladder utilized in ways that it hadn't been before. It was there to be an obstacle. It was there to be a weapon. It was there to be involved. But Kevin and Cody told a story that could have been told even if it wasn't a ladder match. That bump at the end where he powerbombed Kevin Owens through that ladder, that sell by Kevin Owens was phenomenal. Match of the night. I think Cody retains. I do feel like really not sure where they're going to go with Cody. I don't think we're going to see Cena and Cody at Mania. I don't think Cena's going to get his moment against Cody. I don't think it's going to happen at Mania. It's a lot going on. And
Now, the undisputed title match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens was fucking crazy, dog. It was crazy. Jazzy agrees. It was crazy. Holy shit. They beat the hell out of each other, man. And Cody retained, of course, but there was the whole spot when Kevin Owens went through the ladder outside the ring. Looked like he broke his neck. It was wild. They said that Cody was actually suffered some injuries in this match, which I could totally get. I mean, it was a great match, though. I'd say 9 out of 10. It was really good.
Next up is the match of the night for me, and it's my second favorite ladder match of all time, right after this one, the WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. This was a brutal match. This is everything that I look for in a ladder match. I think both talents did a great job, KO and Cody Rhodes. So many crazy spots. They started off fast and they maintained a good pace. They slowed down when they should. They sped up when they should. There was a couple of botches in there, which if you're moving with ladders and you're moving at the pace that they were moving at, that's going to happen sometimes. What I didn't like about the match was Sami Zayn being involved. Not a huge Sami Zayn fan. Don't think that he needed to be out there. Don't really understand why he was out there. So next
title match between Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match. Banger of a match. Cody got his ass whipped for 3/4 of the match, and then all of a sudden the light flip the switch, and then it all changed. But man, there was some serious spots with the ladders. I thought early on in the match when Cody got dropped through the side of the ladder, the big ladder, it looked like on his back he got sliced up. There was no blood, but it looked like a spot on his back, like he kind of got cut. Maybe that was just me, but the one spot where KO dropped Cody onto the ladder that was hanging in between the one ladder and the ropes. Amazing sell job. Cody bounced off that ladder and just sold the shit out of it. It was a holy shit moment when that spot happened. It was amazing. The little ladder that Pat McAfee kept calling out during the match. That's another thing too. This announce crew that was on this PLE. I keep calling them pay-per-views, but PLE. You had Wade Barrett, Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee. Best crew they got going. I mean, give me that every PLE from now on. I mean, they were just... You had the comic relief from Pat. you had, of course, Michael Cole being Michael Cole, and then you had Wade Barrett just breaking down everything, just masterclass of announcing and all that. But about like I said, 3/4 through the match, Cody flips a switch, and it's an. Hopefully, this is a more fiery Cody we get out of this, because when that switch turned, I mean, this was a brutal Cody. When he did the Alabama Slam through that one ladder, I mean, that was a hell of a spot. I mean, KO sold the hell out of it. You just saw a different Cody with that one, and I'm excited to see what happens going forward, going towards WrestleMania with all that. Who picks him? Who knows? But maybe we see it just that. Cody's Cody, but maybe this will be like a badass Cody coming out. I don't know. He came out in a jacket, which was odd because he usually comes out wearing a robe. But Chance was the one that pointed this out. It was possibly a shout out to Dustin, because back in WCW days, Dustin always wore like a jacket to the ring, and then the Eagles kind of symbolized some stuff that Dustin wore back in the day as well. Chance pointed all that out, but yeah, it was an awesome match, great ladder match between two guys that are not big high flyers. When you think ladder matches, you think, I mean, you're going to have some high spots and all that, but the spots that were used in this match were highly effective and freaking awesome. So Cody wins. Just a great match all the way around. I mean, they beat the hell out of each other.
So next up, we have the Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble, and they started out with Rey Mysterio and Penta, which is a dream match. We talked about dream matches not too long ago, and this is a dream match that, you know, I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but I would definitely put it in that category. Both these guys have been in the business for a while, and, you know, they're probably two of the top luchadors in the business right now. There was a botch at the beginning, or a couple of botches by Rey Mysterio, but there was a big botch by Penta. He's been looking off. This Monday night, his match did look a little bit better, but he still clearly has timing issues. I don't know what it is, if it's something with the ring. I don't know what is causing him to have the timing issues, miscommunications. There was a spot where Rey Mysterio was on top of Penta's shoulders. They flipped over the ropes, and Penta's 2 feet hit the floor. The announcers started selling it as only 1 foot. They didn't show a replay, so you know it was definitely 2 feet that hit the floor. This Royal Rumble was very boring and lackluster for probably, I just think it was like, I don't know, just felt like nothing was happening until number 7 when Braun Breaker came out there, and he kind of just, you know, cleaned house a little bit and threw Carmelo out. Whenever Carmelo was getting thrown out, shortly after that, Akira Tozawa came out. Akira Tozawa got taken out by Carmelo Hayes. You get a shot where we follow Tozawa back to the locker room, and there's ISHO Speed is in the background, and Triple H is like, we're going to have to replace Tozawa with someone, and then he yells at, hey Speed, come on out here. So ISHO Speed, Triple H tells him he's in the Rumble. He comes out there, does a little bit, eliminates Otis, and starts celebrating. He does a backflip and just showing off. And Braun Breaker hits the ropes and absolutely cuts ISHO Speed in half. That was probably my favorite spot of the Men's Royal Rumble. And then he picked ISHO Speed up, threw him onto Otis. Otis catches him and just throws him back onto the announcer's table. Then we have Jacob Fatu, which I'm a huge fan of. He came out. He had a good showing in the Royal Rumble, I think. Then Kaiser came out. I'm a fan of his also. He was only in the Royal Rumble for just not even a minute. He came in and got thrown right back out by Penta. Then number 15, some Joe Henry, I think Michael Cole was calling him Henry. He's the TNA champ right now. Not a fan of TNA. Don't watch it. Not a fan of this guy. Don't know who he is. Eventually, Roman Reigns comes out. He eliminates Joe Henry or whatever the guy's name is. But there was a lot of potential feuds that was in the ring at one time. I mean, you had like Roman, you had Roman and Jacob Fatu, Roman and Braun Breaker. You had Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker, Penta. I could see with any of those guys. And then number 21, you had AJ Styles returning. I didn't even know AJ was gone. That's how good WWE has been. Then number 23, which I think is an interesting number, we had Cena come out to a huge pop. It was good to see Cena back. I did not want him to win the Royal Rumble. I'm glad that he didn't. I don't really agree with who won, but I'm glad that it wasn't Cena. Cena eliminates Strowman, and then they did a botched angle where he had Finn Balor on his shoulders to do an attitude adjustment, and I think Braun Strowman was supposed to catch Finn, or he was supposed to land on Braun Strowman or something. I don't know, but Finn Balor took a huge bump to the floor, which looked painful. Then we had, after Seth Rollins came in, there wasn't very many notable people who came after him. I mean, you had like Dom, Sami Zayn, Damian, and then Logan Paul came in at number 30. Then we had a Roman and a Seth face-off, where both of them kind of faced off against each other. And then eventually you had Roman and Seth in the ropes, and CM Punk came and threw Roman and Seth over, and then CM Punk got eliminated by Logan Paul. And then you have kind of, a lot going on outside between CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Everybody was fighting Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins did the curb stomp to Roman, and I guess took him out of action for a while. So they're just pushing that storyline along. I think that CM Punk should have been the person to win the Royal Rumble. I'm upset that, like I said earlier, with Charlotte coming back, and CM Punk deserves this spot. He's been working for it for a lot of years, and I think that this should have been his year to win the Royal Rumble. It comes down to Cena, Logan Paul, and Jey Uso, and Jey Uso ends up winning the Royal Rumble, which I did not like at all. I don't think that Jey Uso deserves to be in this spot. I know that he's probably, or I believe he is, the most over person in the company right now, but basically, I mean, if you create some kind of cool hand gesture or some kind of cool dance that the fans can participate in, like the Yes movement or something like that, I mean, you're just guaranteed a spot to go to WrestleMania. So maybe that's what CM Punk needs to do. Did WWE not watch Jimmy and Jey Uso last year at WrestleMania? I mean, that was one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. And now you're going to put this guy into one of your main events. I know that he's over. I know that he's gotten better throughout the year. But I don't think that he deserves this spot. And I'm glad that Cena didn't win either. I think that was cool of him, because I'm sure he could have made the call to win, but he didn't. Overall, I was excited about this Royal Rumble. It did not deliver. I don't think that it lived up to the hype. I think that there's a lot of things that they need to bring back about the Royal Rumble, like drawing the numbers. They need to put more anticipation. They were building with some of the guys like Punk and Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and all of them. They were building up the hype for it, but it just didn't deliver. The men's Royal Rumble wasn't good. The women's Royal Rumble, I believe, is actually better than the men's Royal Rumble, other than a couple of spots. And really the only match that I believe that was worth watching on this pay-per-view, and it's sad to say, is the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes match. Yeah, that's what I thought about the Royal Rumble. Thank you to everyone that's watching. Thank you for all the subscribers. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Troubled Spirits, Revolution One Media, and all these wrestlers that's sitting here in front of me, and everybody who has contributed anything to this podcast in the last 99.5 episodes. Thank y'all.
And then you had the men's Royal Rumble, which was about an hour and 10 minutes. I think it's about what the women's was too. It was good. It was entertaining. A lot of big, big names in there. For me, I'm pulling for Cena, right? I wanted Cena to win. Cena gets to the final two, and Jey Uso wins, which I'm not mad at Jey Uso winning either, because he's turned into one of the most popular stars in WWE. And of course, I thought it was great though. There was a lot of cool spots. Braun Breaker did some crazy moves, like spearing the shit out of people. When he speared Speed, that was wild. It looked like he broke him in half, like shout JR, shout Jim Ross. But that definitely was a thing. But overall, I thought it was really good. There was the spot at the end when Logan Paul eliminated CM Punk, and it looked like Punk fucked his back up because he landed all weird, but he kept fighting after that outside the ring. So I don't know if that's a thing or not. It was interesting to see Roman Reigns not really get a whole lot of shine. There, I don't want to say that, but he's been so dominant. Jacob Fatu was insane too. That was my first time actually seeing him, other than just highlights. I've seen highlights, but I haven't watched full matches of him, But he did a lot of cool stuff in the Rumble. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that. But overall, I thought it was really good, man. I thought it was entertaining. Again, I wanted Cena to win. It's his last Royal Rumble, but shout out to Cena in classic Cena fashion, putting somebody else over, not trying to make it all about him, Hogan. But, yeah, man, Chetty Bobby, 11:30. 11:30.
Men's Rumble, great all the way around. It went over an hour, didn't feel like it, just spot after spot after spot. I mean, just amazingness. You started off with Penta versus Rey Mysterio, the first two guys to go at it. You can tell age is catching up to Rey. He's been doing it 30-plus years. Still looks great, but, he's slowing down and everything. And clearly, Penta's both feet hit the floor when they had that little spot. There's a reason they didn't show the replay of it, because clearly both feet hit the floor. But man, the spots in it, Jacob Fatu showed out at it. He had some big spots. Braun Breaker had some awesome spots in it. He literally killed whoever that iShowSpeed guy is. I know he's a huge streamer, but I don't know anything else about him. But the spear that he laid down on him, is whiplash. I could have swore he got whiplash from it. And then throws him out of the ring, and Otis catches him, and Otis just tosses him over the table. His lifeless body was just laying there. Props to the kid for taking those bumps. That was amazing. But, they killed him. But you had some huge moments. You had Braun Breaker and Roman going face to face, and Braun just laying a hell of a spear on Roman. Joe Hendry made an appearance from TNA and probably got the biggest pop out of the men's Rumble. Oh, no, he didn't get the biggest pop. He got a huge pop. It was cool to see Sheamus just watching him do his thing and just taking it in. The biggest pop, of course, was Jey Uso when he came out. You had 65,000 people yeeting. He's, like I said, I'll say it again, he's the most over guy in wrestling right now. And that was a sight to see right there. That was something special. I was waiting on that. I knew it was going to be big, but to see that many people in just unison just doing that was pretty crazy. But Cena making his last Rumble appearance, he got a huge pop. And then probably that was a cool moment when you had CM Punk, you had Roman, you had Cena, and then Seth Rollins' music hits, and Cena's like freaking out, like he's marking out for it. That was cool to see. Once again, Cena. I know you said you're shooting a movie or something like that, but that spot on the back of the head, bro, we need to high and tight that, man, because that spot was a big old spot on the back of his head. But man, it was a good Rumble, and then you had the last two in there. You had Jey Uso, you had Cena, which Cena was my pick to win it. But the surprise, they flipped the switch on us and went Jey Uso with the winner. I did not see that coming. I thought he maybe be in the final four, but to be the last one in there, props to him. He's right up there with Cody as the most over guy. I think he may be more over than Cody right now. But man, did not see that coming. But man, what's got me excited is the Elimination Chamber is going to have a whole lot more emphasis on it this year because you saw when Punk, Rollins, and Reigns all got eliminated, they had little issues going on outside the ring. I mean, Rollins curb stomped Reigns twice out there on the outside of the ring, and then you had Punk going at it with Paul Heyman. So I don't know. Elimination Chamber is going to be awesome. It was a great PLE. It's the Royal Rumble. It's one of my favorites. The Rumble event in itself is just so awesome to watch. AJ Styles is back. Yeah, not as many surprises this year as usual, but hey, it was just banger after banger. I mean, when you have a stacked roster like the WWE has, you don't need many surprises. In my opinion, I mean, you have all your guys there. But yeah, Elimination Chamber is going to be fun. Congrats to Jey Uso. It's well deserved. I think he goes after Gunther. I think that's the call to go with. He's got to win this main event. If you're going to call him main event Jey Uso, he's got to get one of these main event pushes. So, and longer than the Intercontinental title push that he got. But I want to see him go after Gunther and kind of like that David versus Goliath match in a way. But that's just me personally. But other than that, yeah, great PLE. I almost did it again. The Rumble is the Rumble, and we love it.
It's a lot going on, and we saw that in the men's Royal Rumble match. First of all, I'll say this. What I don't like about the men's Royal Rumble match is that they continuously start throwing random people in this Royal Rumble match for no reason. They don't do that to the women's. They'll do that to the men's, and it drives me nuts. There were so many people absent from this men's Royal Rumble, but you throw in some random influencer like I Show Speed or whoever this guy was. Breaker had big moments. There was a storyline building between Punk and Seth and Roman that is bigger than the world title. Cena, of course, was in the final two, and everyone thought Cena was the winner. And I think it's great that we got the swerve that we did. I think it's great that WWE was like, okay, we still call the shots. This is the direction we're going. And I'll say this, main event Jey Uso is legit, and there's a good chance he wins the world title at WrestleMania. I said it in the group text with the guys. I think the Yeet movement is far greater than the Yes movement. That's just my opinion. And I think I think the evidence is when you walk in that stadium and you got 25 to 30,000 people doing the Yeet in sync with each other. I think it's phenomenal. It's a great time for Jey Uso. And to be honest, like his promo on Monday Night Raw, he talks about how he carried it through the pandemic, helped build up the bloodline that was for 4 years was one of the biggest storylines of all time. And he really came into his own. He only held the IC title for 28 days. I think you're going to see on the road to WrestleMania and then afterwards in 2025, I think you're going to see a lot of payoffs for the bloodline storyline. I don't think you're going to immediately see Roman inserted into the main event picture. I think you're going to see Jimmy get a singles run with like a U.S. title, not the Intercontinental title, but the U.S. title. And I think you're going to see the payoffs. I think Jey winning the World Heavyweight title will be an ultimate payoff. And I think it will have a moment where he wins it, Roman comes down, there's a celebratory moment, and then you get the tease where you get Roman versus Jey for the World Heavyweight title, possibly at SummerSlam or something along those lines. So the Cena moment, the ending was fantastic. I thought it was great. I do think Jey Uso was the one who deserved it. I do think Cena will get his moment. I don't think it's going to happen at Chamber. I think it's going to be later in the year. I think we will get the 17th reign from Cena, but there's a lot building there. And you've got CM Punk and Seth Rollins somehow figuring into it. That moment where they all three got eliminated around the same time, and then there was an influx of arguments, and then Roman gets curb stomped onto the steel steps. There's something big building there, and I don't exactly know what yet, but I do feel like it's building. LA Knight's another one I do feel like is going to have a big moment at Mania. I feel like maybe a U.S. title run or possibly an Intercontinental because he's already held the U.S. title. I feel like we're about 6 to 8 months away from an LA Knight world title reign or something along those lines, maybe later in the year. I feel like we're going to see a lot of movement in the world title pictures this year. And I'm excited for it. I think we're going to get what we did in the Attitude Era, where the belt changed hands a little bit more frequently. You didn't see the 200 or 300 day champions. There were a couple people from the men's Rumble that I was unhappy weren't there. Of course, we didn't get Kofi. We could have used Kofi instead of I Need Speed or whoever the hell that guy was. And I was hoping that Jeff Hardy was going to be there because of the relationship with TNA. I felt like he would have got a big pop. That's the one shocker that I didn't see, right? And Solo was absent. There was a lot of people absent from the Rumble that could have taken the place. I just get tired of them throwing random influencers in there or random people or announcers or backstage people. I get sick of that. They don't do that to the Women's Rumble, and I wish they would use those guys for truly surprise entrances for the men. So that's my take. That's the Royal Rumble recap. The road to WrestleMania is upon us. Looking forward to it. We got a 100th episode coming up soon, guys. Please tap in if you haven't subscribed to Over the Top with Chad and Tony. Do so now. BJ the DJ, I'm out.
That's it. That's for this episode 99.5. Just Royal Rumble recap, I guess is what we'll call it. Sure, sounds great. Once again, we apologize for not having episode 100 ready. Like I said, it'll be here in a couple weeks. 2 weeks from today, it'll be here for you. I promise. We'll have the whole crew on that episode. I'm super stoked for it and excited. Once again, shout out to the sponsors, Revolution One Media, Trouble Spirits. Shout out to the whole crew, Chad, Chance, BJ, Brandon, the Viz, Squints, Mel, everybody that's been involved with this stuff. And thank y'all to everybody that watches this. We wouldn't be doing these if it wasn't for y'all watching and everything. If you could, share us around. Tell your uncle, tell your sister, brother, somebody. Share us around. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. It's a huge goal for us, and help us get there. We need all the help we can get. But yeah, until episode 100, we got this motherfucker.
Over the top with Chad and Tony, talking about movies and wrestling. Hot mic chance, joins the team, hating on me, Gene. BJ the DJ keeps the party